Hello, good evening and welcome everybody to this audio description which is happening for Forest Gate Does LGBT plus History Month in Newham. Woo! Cabaret! It's all happening. I'm really thrilled to be here offering you some audio description for I think pretty much all the performances. My name's Danny and I did my audio description training with Quiplash, who are a really incredible, powerful, beautiful queer disability organisation, very grassroots, just like please look them up and celebrate them. So yes, that's who I've done my training with, and hopefully it's going to be helpful for you today. Most of the performances are going to come with a little preamble where I'll set up what's going to happen during the performance and describe as best as possible sort of the narrative and the visual narrative of the performance. Some of them I will have to be speaking over the performance as it's happening as well. But I'll try to do that as little as possible. And yeah, hopefully you find it useful. And if you do, then, as I say, please direct all your praise straight to Quiplash and to Forest Gate Pride for just making this as inclusive and accessible as possible. So I think without further ado, we're gonna dive straight on in, aren't we? Here we go. Next up, we have our wonderful, esteemed, glamorous, gorgeous host, Crystal Lubrikunt, who's going to be performing one of her original songs. So this is all very exciting news indeed. The song is it's 3 minutes and 24 seconds long, and it's Crystal with her own vocals, and we're just watching her singing with quite a close cut of just her head and shoulders in the camera. Crystal is wearing what looks like it's maybe vinyl, a lovely sort of vinyl sort of jacket thing with a big frilly collar. It's beautiful pink, like highlighter pink, really great colour on that. She's got a necklace on that says show a bit, and it might say something under that that's cut off the camera, but we're definitely going to show a bit, whatever that is, and that's in a lovely sort of flowy handwriting font. Crystal has got some fantastic makeup on. She's in full drag. She's got a bright red poppin' lip, this beautiful dark moody purple eyeshadow going on right up to these wonderful high arch brows, and some luscious long lashes which go from here until next Sunday. She's also got some very lovely black elegant dangly earrings just framing the whole of her wonderful look. Very lovely indeed. Her hair is in quite a natural wave. It just comes sort of cascading over her shoulders, and I'd imagine down her back as well, and it's sort of a blonde with a hint of like baby pink going on as well. So that is a vision of Crystal for you. The video, as I say, is just Crystal performing the song just straight to the camera, so we just see her head and shoulders, and the camera angle doesn't change, and her position doesn't change either. But what does change is the background. So as Crystal gets to different points in the song, different backgrounds come up. So we see at one point, for example, a angry mob from The Simpsons when she's talking about people being angry. We also see some lovely shots of Drag Syndrome, the wonderful drag troupe who perhaps you've heard of if you haven't looked them up. There's some brilliant footage from Trans Pride in Brighton, I think from a couple of years ago, so if you were there you might be in this one, which is exciting. And then every now and then the progress flag pops up as well. And then sometimes it's just Crystal singing with a sort of a purple curtain graphic too. So yeah, that's the next performance for you. I hope you enjoy it. It's a really fun, beautiful, empowering number. So yeah, here we have Crystal.
Here we go. If you save yourself for marriage, you're a bore. If you don't save yourself for marriage, you're a horrible person. If you won't have a drink, then you're a prude. But they'll call you a drunk as soon as you down the first one. If you can't lose the weight, then you're just fat. Rude. But if you lose too much, then you're on crack. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. So you might as well just do whatever you want. So make lots of noise, kiss lots of boys, or kiss lots of girls if that's something you're into. When the straight and narrow gets a little too straight, roll up a joint, or don't. Just follow your arrow wherever it points, yeah. Follow your arrow wherever it points. Wherever it points. No matter who it is. Unless it's Trump, then no. If you don't go to church, you'll go to hell. If you're the first one on the front row, you're a self-righteous son of a can't win for losing. You'll just disappoint them. Just 'cause you can't beat them don't mean you should join them. So make lots of noise, kiss lots of boys, or kiss lots of girls if that's something you're into. And the straight and narrow gets a little too straight, roll up a joint or don't. Just follow your arrow wherever it points, yeah. Follow your arrow wherever it points. Say what you think, love who you love, 'cause you just get so many trips around the sun. Yeah, you only live once. Now come on, hands together now. On 3, sing along. 1, 2, 3. So make lots of noise, kiss lots of boys, or kiss lots of girls if that's what you are into. When the straight and narrow gets a little too straight, roll up a joint, I would. And follow your arrow wherever it points, yeah. Follow your arrow wherever it points. Oh yeah. Follow your arrow wherever it points.
Thank you. Stop it now, stop it. Oh, hello everyone, welcome to Forest Gate Pride, everybody. Oh, I know, my name is Crystal Lubrikunt. I'm a talentless man in a wig, self-proclaimed, and I'm here to host this digital event full of absolute fabulosity to celebrate LGBTQ+ History Month with you. I'm so excited to be hosting. I hope you enjoyed my little opening number there, my darling. I've got another one in store later on in the show. But for now, let's get things rolling. What goes well with a queen, you say? A king, baby. Next up, direct from London, we have the dapper dynamo, the wonderful, the fabulous leader of the Kings of Clubs. It is King Frankie Sinatra.
I'm really excited about what's happening next because it's a double bill from King Frankie Sinatra, one of my absolute favourite drag kings of all time. And this is a performance of 2 halves, coming in at 9 minutes and 32 seconds. The first half is a more recent recording of Frankie performing one of her songs, or in fact performing a Lionel Richie song, and then the second half of the performance is a recording from Frankie at the RVT. I'm not sure when, but that's the second half of the performance tonight. So, quite straightforward in terms of what goes on visually with the performances. The first one is just Frankie in an undisclosed location, but it's very gold and very sparkly, so that's all that matters. So yes, they are standing in front of a gold sparkly sequin curtain. And we see Frankie appearing from the waist upwards. She's wearing a white shirt, classic Frankie, and that wonderful black, I think that's a trilby hat. I'm going to call it a trilby. She's got a lovely chunky silver wristwatch on and is holding the microphone, which is quite a big, prominent microphone in one hand. She's also wearing her, again, very typical of Frankie, black, quite thick rim spectacles, and she's drawn on a little bit of a moustache and some heavy eyebrows going on there as well. One of my favourite little features of this backdrop, which I forgot to mention a moment ago, is on the wall next to the gold sparkly curtain is a framed bit of artwork that I think probably once originally said "stay home," and there's some like little coronavirus-esque microbes floating around that, but someone's doctored that so it actually says "stay homo," so we can all enjoy that. So yes, the first half is Frankie in that particular setting, as I say, just from the waist up. And then for the second song, which I believe is a Frank Sinatra song, we cut to the interior of the Royal Vauxhall Tavern and we just see the whole stage. So if you've not been to the RVT before, it's quite a deep stage. There's a gold curtain right at the back, and the stage is flanked by two red velvet curtains on either side. This time we're seeing the whole of Frankie, so top to toe, and again she's wearing that classic white shirt and the black trilby, but now she's got a snappy black tie on with a gold tie pin, some very smart black trousers and shoes, and most importantly of all, the gold sequin tailcoat, which we absolutely adore. And Frankie just sort of moves about the stage for the second song, charming us with her Frank Sinatra dulcet tones. And I think that's probably all I need to say, because Frankie is going to tell the rest of that particular story. So without further ado, here she is, King Frankie Sinatra.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining. I'm going to do something from now, and I'm going to do something from then. Let's start with something from now.
Thanks for the times that you've given me. The memories are all in my mind. It's not all in my mind actually. And we never come to the end of our rainbow. But there's something I must say out loud. What could it be? You're once, twice, 3 times a lockdown. I love you. Yes, you're once, twice, 3 times a lockdown. I love you. I love you. Talking to you, lockdown. Yeah, baby. You've shared my dreams, my joys, my pains. You've made my life worth living for. And if I had to live last year over again, I'd spend each and every moment indoors. I went out far too often, I tell you. Must have been at least 8 times. You're once, twice, 3 times a lockdown. I love you. Yes, you're once, twice, 3rd time's a charm, 3 times a lockdown. I love you. I love you. I mean, really, all I've had to do is stay in, isn't it? Back of my neck's nice and warm, my hair's got a life of its own. I've bought something I never thought I would own. I've got a shower cap. Lockdown 1, the first time, those moments I cherish.
with every beat of my heart. Lockdown 2 was confusing, but still quite amusing. But 3 is where the fun really starts. How are you breaking up the day? Can I suggest biscuits? As a country, we eat more biscuits than anyone else in the world. And I like to think I've done my bit for the national effort. Start the day with a chocolate finger. Lunchtime is a bourbon. Afternoon television calls for a jammy dodger, doesn't it? Don't bother with digestives and rich tea. They're not rich tea, they're poor tea, they're boring. And as for a rice cake, it's not a cake. Don't invite it. And you can walk. The magic number is 10,000. That's the number of steps you have to do a day, the number of words you have to speak, and the number of times you pick up your phone and forget why. You're once, twice, 3 times a lockdown. I love you. Yeah, lockdown. I love you. I've got lovely clean hands. I've got happy house plants. I've got a puppy. I've developed a gratitude attitude. I've learned to slow down. Because one day, this will be over and we'll go back to busy London life and the hustle and bustle, and we'll look back on this and go, oh, wasn't all bad. Had a jolly good rest. So thank you, lockdown. Thanks for everything. I love you. I love you. And I've got mice.
I am contractually obliged to sing a Frank Sinatra song with every single performance, so here we go. Are you ready? You can join in, you know it.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I'll make a brand new start of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray. I'll ride to the very heart of it. New York, New York. I wanna wake up in the city that never sleeps and find out king of the hill, top of the heap, the whole spot and blue. They're melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it. New York, New York. If I can
It's a ticket out of New
Thank you, Frankie. That was gorgeous. Oh, we love it. I just want to take the time right now to say thank you for our team making things accessible here today at Forest Gate Pride, giving us some pride in February and making sure we remember our history and celebrate it. But up next, I think it's time for a bit of a tune. What say you, my darlings? Heard on BBC Radio 6, I'm so excited to present Miri, everybody.
The next performance we're going to hear is a song performed by Miri. Miri is a singer-songwriter. They're going to give you a little bit of preamble about themselves at the beginning of this video. But yes, Miri is performing in what looks like her own living room. It's quite a lovely living room, actually. She's obviously got very good interior decor taste. So we've got a lovely sort of grey wall in the background. And then the keyboard just in the front of the camera at which Miri is sitting. Between the keyboard and the wall, there's what looks like a dining table with a lovely white chair just off to the left of the screen. And on the right-hand side, this really lovely big armchair with a great multicoloured geometric pattern. I'm really enjoying that. And then loads and loads of CDs in the background as well, because she is, of course, a musician. There's some artwork on the walls showing the London Astoria, which is a big music venue. And then what looks like superheroes attending the Last Supper, which I'm very much enjoying as well. Miri herself is, as I say, sat at the keyboard just in front of the camera. We see her from the waist up. The rest of her is hidden underneath the keyboard. And she's got a blue jacket on with some white sort of crisscross lines going on there, and the jacket's rolled up to her elbows. She's also wearing a white t-shirt with the words "Find Your Voice" written on it, which I believe is her merchandise, and I think she's going to tell you more about that as well. The words "Find Your Voice" are written in multicoloured rainbow stripes. It's a really, really lovely thing. Miri is a white person. She's got beautiful red lipstick on, otherwise quite minimal makeup, if any at all. And she has dark hair, which she's pulled back into a bun on the top of her head. Throughout the performance, she stays seated at the keyboard. And again, we're just watching her sort of just playing and expressing herself to the camera. And a lot of the performance, other than the singing, comes from her really engaging facial expressions, and she gets really into it. This is quite a jazzy little number, and we're getting a lot of those sort of deep facial expressions from Miri as she's getting involved in the performance. So here we are, ready for Miri.
Hi, my name's Miri, and it's really special to be here to perform some songs for you. I've been living in Newham now for 21 years, and so many years ago I would have never thought there would be an opportunity like this to celebrate and mark LGBT History Month. So thank you so much for having me. This first song I'm going to sing is my most recent single, which I released last year for World Mental Health Day, and it's called Just Breathe. I am here for you, like you've been here for me. Just breathe. You can call on me, I'll be the safe space that you need. Feel free. Life can get so rough. You're an angel lost from love. You've cried fear. You broke tears. The world isn't always safe. Being yourself makes you brave and sincere. Coast isn't clear, which is why I like you've been here for me. Just breathe. You can call on me. I'll be the safe space that you need. Feel free. The outside isn't always fun. Being inside can feel so numb and closed in. You're not a sin. It's so easy to get trolled. Feels so hard not to let it show that it hurts. Hateful words burn, which is why I am here for you, like you've been here for me. Just breathe. You can call on me. I'll be the safe space that you need. Feel free. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I am here for you, like you've been here for me. Just breathe. You can call on me. I'll be the safe space that you need. Feel free. The second and last song I'm going to perform for you is my track called Good Ones. If you like what I do and you'd like to support, you can follow me on my socials at Miri Official UK. You can also find all my other links on my website miriofficial.com, which also includes links for my Find Your Voice t-shirts. This one I launched especially for LGBT History Month, and you can stream my music on a wonderful streaming service called Sunstream. Thank you so much for having me, sending the most love to all of you, and this one is Good Ones. Why do the good ones stumble? Why do the good ones fall? Why do the ones who cause the suffering feel nothing at all? Why do the brave crumble? Why do the brave go unheard? Why do the cowards prosper in the dirt? I keep on loving, I keep on living for today. Yeah, yeah. I keep on loving, I keep on living for today. Yeah, and we will breathe to feel a brighter day. Oh, a lighter today. Yeah. I got my pride socks on too.
Thank you so much, Miri, for that beautiful performance. Next up, we're going to take things down here at Forest Gate Pride with a bit of spoken word from the wonderful Ramanique Ahluwalia.
Next up for you, we have a spoken word piece by Ramanique, which comes in at 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Ramanique, as I say, is a performance poetry artist, and she's delivering her piece called Other. The performance opens with the title word Other coming up across the screen in bright yellow bold text, and it sort of has that shaky, like, home style DIY video feel from the 90s, if you remember that long ago. But that word just flashes up for a few seconds, and then we cut to a shot of Ramanique herself. So the video is predominantly just her performing straight to camera, and for the most part we see Ramanique from sort of the chest upwards, and I'll just describe her a bit for you now. So Ramanique is of mixed British Indian heritage. She has sort of dark hair that comes down just past her shoulders and is slightly wavy. She's wearing a black t-shirt with the sleeves just folded up a little bit, and she's wearing a chain pendant around her neck. She doesn't appear to be wearing any makeup. She's got quite dark eyebrows, and as I say, for the most part, she's just looking straight into the camera, and we see her from the chest to the top of her head. Sometimes during the performance, the camera will cut either to a close-up of her face, or perhaps it'll be her face from a diagonal angle. We do see a shot of her hands as well as she's telling the poem, and we see that she's wearing 2 rings, one on her first and one on her third fingers. But it always comes back to that shot of Ramanique, as I say, from the chest to the head, as she delivers this incredibly powerful poem called Other.
Sometimes it seems like the world is one big form, checking boxes to see how we score on a scale of 1 to normal. Name, title, sex, a poor attempt to understand something so complex, so grand beyond woman and man, we do everything we can to suppress it. Shots poured, shots fired, pills to morning keeping us wired, desperate attempts to smother that lingering feeling of other. Otherness, a thing we reserve for the unknown, a thing we deny, we all know. We live in the confines of our walls, no acknowledgement of our connection to all. But what if we looked at each other's stories? What if we ask questions instead of ignoring? To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom, and putting us in boxes puts us in prison. The boxes on the page ask our age and sexuality. We give them the power to define our humanity. I'm a queer, mixed heritage woman. My story is a conflict of identity, of pain, of heartbreak, not knowing who I'm meant to be, cultivating armor as another me so the world won't see me as otherly, wasting so much energy, dimming down a light inside of me until finally I began to ache. I realized the absurdity, rediscovered the veracity of the younger me, and went on a journey of love and self-discovery, exploring my sexuality, finding my voice, and finally being the real me. My story is not unique. It belongs in no category, not filed under LGBT or defined by ethnicity. Passed down through generations, it's been written universally, shaping our history. Segregation, integration, immigration, liberation, it fuels the fight for equality. It's a daily battle to stand up or blend in, to give in to the fear or to own yourself, the colour of your skin, whether you're straight or queer, rejecting the playground lessons telling us we are lesser, to fight against conformity, to remove the divide between you and me. There is power in the other. There is power in listening to each other. There is power in listening to each other.
Thank you so much, Ramanique, for that. That was beautiful. Next up, we have one of the finest kings in London. My gorgeous friend, fantastic performer, gonna spoil us with some cabaret festivities right now. Make some noise, put your hands together for Benjamin Butch.
Okay, and here we have a performance from the wonderful, the breathtakingly handsome Benjamin Butch. Huge fangirl here. Benjamin is performing a rendition of Gay Bar, which is that song by the Electric Six that we all definitely know. If you don't, you're about to experience that. So this is a lip sync, essentially. But there's quite a lot going on in this one, so I will be talking to you just a little bit as the performance happens as well, but I'll set it up for you now. So we see Benjamin wearing this quite elaborate sort of flouncy shirt, lots of ruffles, very tight trousers, looking, as I say, incredibly handsome. He's got some really, really good makeup on with his quite typical, I believe, little pencil moustache just coming over the top lip, and the nose ring just throughout. What's the middle of the nose called? I don't know. That doesn't matter. He's got sort of slick back hair and quite a high fade, some heavy eyebrows, and I believe that might even be the little hint of a goatee on the chin there as well. The song Gay Bar is about a gay bar, and what Benjamin's done very cleverly, I think, in this performance is create a gay bar in what looks like their bedroom. So what we see throughout this performance are a lot of different backgrounds, some very dynamic fabrics like a bright orange leopard print, a sort of a yellow with stars and moon going on, and then by the end of the song we are taken into the gay bar, which is a bedroom door with the words Gay Bar written on it in what looked like crayon. So that's basically the gay bar of all of our dreams. There's two people already in the gay bar in addition to Benjamin, having a really good boogie. Again, we've got those fabrics on the wall. We've got a little bit of fairy light going on.
I wanna take you to a gay bar. I wanna take you to a gay bar. I wanna take you to a gay bar, gay bar, gay bar. Let's start a war. Start a nuclear war. At the gay bar, gay bar, gay bar. Wow! At the gay bar. Do you have any money? I want to spend all your money at the gay bar, gay bar, gay bar. I've got something to put in you. I've got something to put in you. I've got something to put in you. At the gay bar, gay bar, gay bar. You're a superstar. At the 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 gay bar. Superstar.
Give it up for Benjamin Butch, everybody. Now from one fine cabaret talent to the next. I'm so thrilled to introduce the next performer. They have bettered me as a performer. They've made me think of more accessible ways I can reach out to my audiences. This blind, non-binary, bisexual drag king wants us to smell the world through their nose. Give it up for Tito Bone!
I don't think I could be any more excited by the next performance because it's by Tito Bone, who is the person who taught me audio description. So if you're enjoying this audio description, you've got Tito to thank for it. I'm especially excited because I don't even need to do any audio describing at all for this because Tito is so good that they actually just work all the audio description into their act. So you're just going to get that beautifully as the act is happening. But what I will tell you is that this is a little bit of speaking to camera and then a song, and it comes in at 5 minutes and 39 seconds. So yes, Tito of Quiplash fame, do look them up. Take it away, Tito.
Hi, Noodle. Oh, it's so nice to talk to you, to Zoom with you. I mean, I can't see you because I am your average blind, non-binary, bisexual drag king, but it's really nice to chat to you. Oh, you're such a beautiful cat, so fluffy and white with black patches on your nose and your head and your tail and your bum. Oh. And no, I'm not at the beach, if you're wondering. This is just a background, and I'm actually in my pajamas, which is a, sleeveless sequin tailcoat, bow tie, glitter beard, matching eyebrows, buzz cut, and absolutely no trousers. Standard. And I know you're a bit sleepy, but I hope you don't mind just having a chat, because you're such a good listener. And last time we were talking, I was telling you about what it was like before the pandemic for me, and all the things that I had to go through to learn how to do drag and really find my niche in the drag world, in the queer world. And I mean, well, I remember it all so clearly. Dream sequence, shifting, wobbly screen, new scenery that is definitely not just Tito standing in front of a pink bedsheet that's been hung up on the wall. Because I mean, bringing deaf and disabled people onto your stages, making your shows accessible, well, it's really important. But it's always for me like, look at this club, isn't it neat? So much potential for people to meet. Wouldn't you think they're the queers who have everything? Look at this stage for stories untold. But I mean, how many non-disabled cis white gay men can one venue hold? Looking around here, you'd think, sure, they've got everything. They've got costume and makeup aplenty. They've got lace fronts and glitter galore. You want talent? They've got plenty. But for me, there's no deal. I'm stuck at the door. I want to be where the drag creatures are. I want to learn how they do their dancing. Why is it so hard to include things like, what's the word? Audio description? Lip syncing won't really get me far. If vision's required to learn that drag skill, access should really be more than a, what's the phrase? Buzzword. Not everyone talks, not everyone runs, but that doesn't mean we don't have any fun. The disabled aren't free, but I wish we could be part of your world. What would I give if I could live beyond these barriers? What would I pay to spend a day with my own drag clan? It might seem quite grand, but understand that I'm not asking for your whole kingdom. Bright, young-ish drag king, sick of waiting, ready to go. And I'm ready to know what the drag people know. Ask them my questions and get some answers. What is spirit gum and why does it, what's the word, burn? When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore the drag in the club? Dramatic freeze. The disabled aren't free. But I wish we could be part of your world. And now, hold your applause as I perform one of the major tenets of drag, the reveal. Off comes the tailcoat to show you my clams. And of course by clams I mean clam-shaped pasties covering the nipples of my otherwise bare breasts. Thank you. Out of dream sequence, wobbly screen, back to Zoom, but Tito doesn't have a shirt on. So yeah, I mean, you get it, don't you, Noodle? It's just a bit tough when people don't think about making stuff accessible or bringing deaf and disabled people into their shows. But, you know, it's not as bad as it was, because I do drag now. I'm doing drag right now. I mean, Noodle? Noodle, are you still there? Is that a rainbow poo emoji pillow? Oh, she's gone. Cats.
Thank you so much, Tito. That was wonderful. Now we're just gonna keep on bringing you some drag, baby. Drag, drag, more drag, all the drag you want here at Forest Gate Pride. And our next performer is no exception. Make some noise at home, stamp your feet, clap your hands together for Gypsy Von Jagger. Ooh.
Next up, we have a wonderful performance spoken word poetry piece by Gypsy Von Jagger. Gypsy is a drop-dead gorgeous drag queen, and we see her here on the screen just from the shoulders up, which leaves us really guessing and wanting to know more about the rest of this stunning outfit. But what we can see is a huge bouffant wig in sort of a lovely dusky baby pink with beautiful curled ringlets that comes down to about the shoulder. It's a little bit Barbarella, but it's absolutely stunning. Gypsy is wearing what looks like a purple sort of plasticky, tassel-y, shimmer gown, which I hope goes all the way down to the floor. But as I say, we can only see her down to the shoulders. And she's also got a big chunky necklace on with just the word Gypsy in gold around her neck. Her makeup is really lovely, lots more shades of that beautiful dusky pink. She's got a really sharp contour going on across the cheek, which just gives her the most elegant cheekbones imaginable. Lovely long lashes and a lovely delicate pink eyeshadow going on. Gypsy is standing in front of the Progress Pride flag, which includes the trans stripes and the black and brown stripes as well in the triangle just on the left-hand side, just in case you didn't know. And again, Gypsy is standing pretty much still for the whole of the performance. She's very animated in her face. When she references words like wiggle or dance, she does a little shimmy to sort of illustrate that. But she's mostly standing still and telling us the story just with the words in her poem and the beautiful, expressive nature of her face. I can't remember if I said how long this one was, so I'm going to say again. It's just 1 minute and 12 seconds long, so a fairly short piece. And without further ado, I give you Gypsy Von Jagger.
Pride is holding his hand whilst they stare. Boy as princess whipping their hair. A universal knowing that you are truth. Reclaiming words. Yes, I am a poof. Tearing down binary through our identity. Two mothers, chosen parent her destiny. Uplifting worldwide, brothers and sisters, and those in between whose magic glitters. Golden lines that appear, one from giggles. Our tribe dancers with no cares, we love a wiggle. The inner work that we do, sooner than most. Some people are born fabulous, get over it we toast. Vigilant to fear, always leading with kindness. Hearts open, smiles wide, shining your brightness. We teach others by example that love is love. We are heavenly, we are proud, star children above.
Abracadabra! Oh, thank you so much, Victoria, for that magnificent, magical performance. We are slowly but surely coming to the end of our event. I know. All good things must come to an end, my darlings. But without further ado, we still have fabulous performances left. And next is no exception. The multi-hyphenate performer, the one and only, the Mollusc Dimension.
Oh, let's just get comfortable. My famous bisexual aching joints. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a few different types of crushes. Well, to begin with, here's an audio description. I'm an East Asian person and I'm wearing a hat which is dark grey and kind of like a bit like a trilby. which covers my hair. I've got eyeliner on. I'm wearing a dark red shirt and like a sun-shaped ornate brooch, which basically used to belong to my grandma actually. Around it there's like a black 80s geometric bead necklace, and I'm seated on this lovely sofa which is dark red. It also has a section with wide black and white stripes, and I'm flanked by these velvet brown cushions which you can hear me stroking. That's it for the audio description. Other bits of video which may not be audio described, but they should be described in the transcript. So crush number 1. I had a breakup, a lockdown pandemic breakup, and my ex-boyfriend is really into Queen, and when we were together, I promise I won't spend the whole time talking about my ex, not that this is a first date or anything. When we were still together, we would get takeout sometimes, and so I would be eating my plantain and listening to Freddie Mercury. And so yeah, this is my version of this much beloved Queen song, which I hopefully won't ruin for you, and it's the Transquirian Rhapsody. Also, I don't really want to go into it too much, but I did have a little bit of corona racism, which actually had quite an impact on me, and so that explains where this song kind of goes, basically.
Parents, I know I'm trans. Things are not all fine, but this body, it is mine. Parents, death has spat me out, and now I'm wondering what's beyond. Parents, I don't wanna cry society's fake tears anymore. Stop right there, stop right there, 'cause Asians are feelings too.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Now for crush number 2. Well, this is about lust as a motivational factor for exercise. So before I kind of go into it, if you're my fitness instructor, can you please stop watching right now? Okay. I attended her Zoom workout and I felt so good afterwards. I had a bit of an exercise instructor crush. I was actually afraid of attending more sessions in case like this develops into some kind of infatuation. It's like I have enough going on in my life at the moment without having to worry about an infatuation as well.
I'm melting, I'm melting. Oh, what a world. Destroying my beautiful wickedness.
Oh, have I dried off yet? So basically I found out about this thing called cake crushing, and yeah, I'm not going to do any cake crushing, but I was wondering if I was a cake, who would I want to crush? Crush number 4. Okay, so if you have seen my video for Land of Hope and Glory, you might think that I'm being really negative about the Tories. And basically, that's true. But also, have I ever learnt anything from them? Let me think. Yes, they have taught me to crack eggs and hammer nails and also crush cardboard boxes. Basically, you might already know this, but I figured out, like, if you've got a cardboard box that you want to recycle, instead of like breaking it open with your hands, what you can do is you can wear shoes and stand inside it and break it open with your feet, and it's a lot of fun. Bet you weren't expecting to hear that when you tuned in today. Why am I still not seeing people of colour doing DIY on TV? Good afternoon. I am Edgar Allan Keyes Poe. Firstly, you remove the white knobs. And secondly, you hang on to these because you never know when you might want a screw. Ooh, I can hear one of you laughing out there. That makes my queer heart very happy. Now I'm gonna make a bum joke, but before I do that, I just want to tell you that some of the older white women at the dog park covet my bum. Yeah, they told me. They were like, ooh, wish I had your bum. I don't go there anymore. That's not all. I had this idea that I could do this act where one of my bum cheeks is Boris Johnson and the other one is Ian Duncan Smith. But then I was like, who would want to see that? And you know that meme where Tory MPs are like shoes? I think that's really funny. I really want to see that again, but I just can't find it anymore. I don't know what's happened to it. So if you know where to find that meme, then please let me know. Because, you know, like, I think it's really great to be creative and think about like new shapes and, you know, new ways of like turning like pain into pleasure. It's inspired me to think about Tory MPs as like butt plugs. Okay, now I'm on to my fifth crush, which is ignorance. The state doesn't want you to think too much. The state doesn't want you to think full stop. Which topics won't mainstream media touch, while black and brown Tories race to the top? Does your school teach you how not to sleepwalk? Whose histories matter and whose are concealed? Research, revolt and stop burning Guy Fawkes. Research the rich who are to the crown kneeled. Fight the bigotries taught so foggily that we're not aware, we don't self-reflect. Can we decolonize the bully? Where is the crumble the empire effect? Society learns from state papers, school. Ignorance is corruption's best tool.
Why does this man take up so much space? So much time, so much space. Just like them, we long to be spacious. Just like them, we long to be spacious.
Before I invite you to my next show, I want to tell you about some of my other projects, and the first one was Breaking the Spell, which is a queer takedown of Queen Elizabeth I by Bird Le Bird, who's a queer legend, and it's on the National Maritime Museum website. The second project is Adventures in Time and Gender, which is a podcast about a young trans person and a talking suitcase who travel through time and meet loads of trans people, gender non-conforming people, and people who studied about gender and sexuality, and it was really interesting to kind of listen to and learn about, you know, this hidden history. And number 3 is Monster Tea DIY Kids Show is a YouTube show that I made with some other queers, including Bean Pig Puppets. And yeah, if you remember things like Jackanory, then you might especially enjoy it, because it's like slightly on the creepy side, but it's a lot of fun. I hope you, check it out. I'm also really excited to tell you about a show I have coming up on Thursday, April the 8th, which is with Chinese Arts Now. And in that show, I'm going to be exploring some work that I've made, like my album. It could well be the first album, it's the first album that I've heard of that's by a British-born 41-year-old Chinese transmasc artist. And I'm going to be talking about the process of creating that with my collaborator and creative partner, Yuri Joe, who was also featured on the album in an audio and visual way. And I'm also going to be sharing some other bits of work, some new work, and a book that I'm going to be writing. It's my first hour-long show, and it's on Thursday, 8th of April, with Chinese Arts Now. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at the Mollusc Dimension, the same on Facebook. And on Twitter, I'm at Mr. Gloomy Tunes. I also have a website, themolluscdimension.com, where I'm beginning to archive my work. And a really big thanks to Forest Gate Pride for inviting me to take part in this year's show. I feel really privileged to have been able to share with you about my crushes. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned to find out what else is going on. Support the other artists, stay safe, and remember, Asians have feelings too. Bye for now. I'm going to take you on a journey of the unexpected. Bollocks.
Next up, we're going to give you a barrel of laughs. How about that? A little bit of laughter, a little bit of a comedy. I don't mind if I do. Do you? Gorgeous! Welcome our next performer, giving us a bit of stand-up, make some noise, stamp your feet, clap your hands, sing to the rooftops for Charlie George.
Hello. Next up, we have a wonderful poetry performance coming from Charlie George. So the performance is going to be just 12 and a half minutes long, so it's a fairly long performance. And I'll just describe for you what happens visually. So Charlie George uses she, her pronouns. She's standing in what looks like a bedroom. There's a wooden wardrobe behind her and a grey wall. And you can just make out a window frame on the right-hand side of the shot. Charlie George herself, you just see her sort of from the waist upwards, and she's wearing a really beautiful blazer with quite boxy square shoulders and sort of a gold and grey geometric pattern all over it. She has long, beautiful, curly, dark hair, which sort of comes right down to the bottom of the screen. And she's got a lovely oval-shaped face and dark eyes. She moves very expressively throughout the performance, but the camera doesn't move at all. So all we see is, as I say, Charlie George from the waist upwards, moving her hands a lot and sort of moving her body. It's almost in time to the poetry, but she stays fairly rooted on the spot, and the camera angle doesn't change, the lighting doesn't change. Nothing else really changes except the intensity and passion of Charlie's wonderful performance. So I hope that's given you something helpful to enjoy this performance. And here we go.
Hello. It's always been my dream, ever since I was a little girl, to perform to no one, alone in my room, ideally for some kind of LGBTQ History Month, for Forest Gate, ideally. So really, it's a high honour to be here. Like any normal person, I've just worn a full green suit, and I've sprayed myself with perfume. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's to feel alive. But I'm delighted to be here. I'm going to do a set for you. I mean, I'll do what I can with what I've got. I've got a little lamp. I'm in a room alone. There's a cable connected to the internet that's been gaffer taped very precariously to the window. I think one thing we can agree on in these very divisive times is that you only get one self and that it needs improving. Yeah. So I actually decided this lockdown I'm going to quit smoking. Yeah, I've quit smoking cigarettes. And I've taken up incense. Yeah, I'm currently on 20 nag champa a day. And I'm not going to lie, same amount of smoke, same dirty looks, but it feels more sacred. Everyone's got their own journey towards consciousness, haven't they? You can't rush it. You cannot rush it! If I could quote Gandhi here, I think he said, be the problem you want to see in the world. And I've really been trying to channel that this year. I've actually got into this new thing called the mindfulness. Are you familiar with the mindfulness? Right, it's essentially where you sort of look inside your mind and you go, oh, fuck! And then you try not to make it worse. And I've actually been doing different types of practices. I did an online course and I've learned some interesting bits of wisdom. One of them is a new meditation practice. And you can take this one from me, very helpful if you're having a bit of a stressful time right now in your living situation. So essentially what you do is you just sort of inhale really deeply and then hold your breath and then turn to face each corner of your room and exhale while screaming. Now, my housemates have asked me to move out, but, I feel more centered. Another bit of wisdom that I gleaned from the course and that I've been kind of trying to work on this year is like healing some of the wounds of the past and, where to begin. Which one to choose from. So I thought I'd share a story with one of the stupidest lies I've ever told with you. I should probably explain that I come from a place far, far away called The Idea You Can Save a Marriage and Swindon. Now, if you're not familiar with Swindon, it's a town in Wiltshire. It's probably most famous for a roundabout. That's magic, yeah! Because all the millennials that grow up there, right, they just sort of keep returning and going round and round in concentric circles of unemployment until they reach self-actualisation and are released on the M25 to Bristol. I was actually raised devout Jehovah's Witness, yeah, because Swindon wasn't enough. If you're not familiar with the Jehovah's Witnesses, you might have hid from us when we came knocking on your door. And we were forced to do that, yeah. Most parents teach their children about the danger of strangers. I was sent out in a skirt, hoping to be lured into their homes. I did break away from that religious life, and as a result, I have quite a lot of self-loathing about who I am as a person. Thank you, Jesus. I say break away, I was actually kicked out of home for my sexuality. Irony is, I don't even really know what my sexuality is anymore, Sexual history is like internet history, isn't it, Throws up a lot of questions, and you don't want to live them all out. I think I'm probably pansexual / bisexual, but you can't say that where I grew up, because that's like saying you're like Oasis and Blur, pick a team, it's raw. I don't know why people are so obsessed with gender, it's not the genitals that make a relationship, is it? It's the deep-rooted personality flaws and fear of dying alone. I was obsessed with this rare form of self-harm growing up. Some of you might have heard of it. It's called falling in love with straight girls. There's very few women in Wiltshire whose hair I haven't braided and sniffed whilst they've complained to me about their boyfriends. But when I left home, I actually moved to Bristol when I was 16, right, to go to circus school. Yes, I went to circus school. Not one of the posh ones in France or Canada, the one for wayward shithead teens in the West Country. And, I owe a lot to Bristol, I'll be honest, mainly harem pants and ketamine. Anyway, once I moved there, I progressed from straight girls to lesbians. In relationships with known gang members. Yeah! We can all look forward to the Netflix special where I introduce you to my death row wife. Uncivil partnership. This girl's name was Rosie. She was magnificent. And we started this hot affair at circus school. Sign me up for the Mills and Boone novel now. There was just one teeny tiny problem. Like, Rosie had a terrifyingly built girlfriend called Erica. Now, I know we're a pretty moralistic generation and I wouldn't want you to judge me at this point, so I should explain myself. I was 16 and she was really fit. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone in a tight leotard fall off a trapeze into a crash mat on top of you before, but it is hot. So hot that I nearly forgot about Erica. Now, where I was into performing arts and poetry, Erica was into cocaine and fighting. I'm not a fighter, okay? In a fight between me and Erica, my consciousness would leave my body immediately and form some kind of existential contemporary dance piece about the nature of violence above me as I was pummeled to death. I always thought, right, that I'd meet the love of my life somewhere quiet, you know, maybe unexpectedly, in a library as our hands reached for the same philosophy book. We'd walk hand in hand through the park in matching jumpers. To say I felt out of place on the gay scene is to say that a circus performer's favourite move is their head in the mouth of a lion. I hated it. Speakers blaring tinny chant music at your temples as you stood on the sticky floor surrounded by loads of men who dominated the space. Nothing wrong with men. There was all kinds of them. They were all very lovely. Big variety of men. You had the big beardy men, the shiny twinky ones, the short spiky haired vesty men, all the men. And then one small group of women in two tribes of Butch and Femme. So I'm sat in this nightclub, right, and I'm having a terrible time. I don't want to be there, and I've only gone because Rosie is there and I wanted to see her. Now, I do this thing, some of you might do this, where essentially I feel awful, but my face is just like, yeah, let's all have a really great time. And essentially, I'm watching Erica kiss Rosie's neck and I want to die inside. And then Erica is there on this night out, right, with these mates, right? I call them the three witches because they perfectly prophesize what kind of carnage Fridays and Saturday nights are going to be. And all out of the blue, right, we're all sat around. One of them, who's particularly terrifying, unexpectedly puts her arm around me and says, now brace yourself because I'm about to do a Bristol accent now. And it is devastatingly sexy. So she puts her arm around me and she goes, why don't you come home with me? Oh, how could I resist? Rosie immediately does this knee-jerk jealousy reaction and says, Charlie doesn't like Butch girls. First of all, inaccurate. Second of all, why are you trying to blow our cover? Erica immediately leans forward, puts her arms on Rosie's and says, how the fuck would you know what she likes? Oh, I'm gonna get my head kicked in. I'm gonna get my head kicked in. Then Rosie does this save, right? And she leans forward and she's like, no, it's just that she likes this girl that we both know at college. And I'm there like, yeah, the girl at college. Sweating. And then Rosie, right, goes to the bar to get some drinks and leaves me alone with this pack of vultures, right? And I'm thinking, just don't ask anything, just don't say anything, and it'll be fun. Erica immediately leans towards me and says, so what's her name? Now, I don't know if you ever had to come up with the name of a fake love interest on the spot before, but it is stressful. And I'm looking around me for something, anything, that isn't a box of neon straws or a sign for the toilet to give me some names on her name, and I've got nothing, so I just panic and I go, Julia Andrews! Oh, no. Rosie, right, comes back from the bar carrying this tray of Sambuca shots. How do I know it's Sambuca? The smell arrives first. And I try and intercept her really quickly, and I'm making these wide eyes, my eyebrows are raised, and I'm like, remember Julia? No, she was a nun, but now she's a nanny, and she goes to our circus school. And Rosie's just looking at me like, you absolute moron. And Erica is onto us and staring us both down, and everyone grabs a shot glass and raises a toast to Julia Andrews. It wouldn't be fair, really, to not, share some of the wisdom that I've learned from doing this course, so that you have something to take away from this experience. Life is like the pages in a book. You should half listen to the podcast instead, and then give ill-informed advice about it to everyone you know. If you want to be healthier but are struggling to make dietary changes this year, why not try sending your Deliveroo rider up a nearby hill instead of your home address? Play Kate Bush as you run towards your takeaway. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, especially if you're standing behind a relative or housemate who's trying to concentrate on some carefully coordinated cross-stitch. They'll scream in delight. Want to have a body like Kim Kardashian, but can't be bothered to do thousands of tiny little leg lifts? Why not use that leftover sage and onion stuffing to fill the lining of your pants? Thrifty and lifted. It doesn't matter what anyone says. How many followers you have online, the colour of your skin, how much money you have. People will always find a way to hate you. So learn a martial art. I chose capoeira myself, or as I like to call it, Brazilian Tinder. Instead of swiping right, you just go round in a circle, aggressively kicking at the object of your affection while someone plays the tambourine. What consumes your mind controls your life. So stop thinking about biscuits.
Pow! Thank you so much, Charlie, my love. Giving us a bit of a giggle here or there, my loves. Next up, I think it's time for some magic. Ooh, Come on, my loves. Make some noise for our own private magician this evening, Victoria Elizabeth.
Something a little bit different for you now. We have the magical stylings of Victoria Elizabeth, magicienne extraordinaire. Victoria she's very funny, as you'll see, but I'll describe her for you. The way I'm going to break this one down, I think I'm going to have to do it trick at a time, so you'll have to bear with me, and I'm going to try so hard not to give the game away before the denouement. The whole performance comes in at 11 minutes and 29 seconds. So yeah, let's crack on. So Victoria herself, she's a white woman. She has blonde hair that sort of comes in quite nice loose ringlets just to around her shoulder length. And she's got a lovely red lip on today as well. She's looking very pretty. She's wearing a royal blue dress, which sort of starts quite high at the neck and then comes down past the bottom of the camera. We see Victoria, sorry, I meant to say, down to about her knee, maybe slightly higher than that. So yeah, she's got this royal blue dress on with quite a tight waist belt, which is black. She's wearing a black blazer, very, very typical magician sort of garb is that black blazer. And a blue hat as well, just resting on the crown of her head, which very much matches the dress. She's accessorised in typical extravagant style. We've got this wonderful multi-string, beaded, jewel, very like diamondy sort of necklace going on. It's very heavy bit of costume jewellery, and she seems to have a matching bracelets going on her left wrist as well. And of course, being a magician, she is holding a magic wand, which has a silver star on the end of that, which I suppose is where all the magic is stored. It's a fairly basic setup. So what we see is a grey background with a curtain covering about a third of the left-hand side of the screen, and that curtain is also grey. Just in front of the curtain is a small red table, and on top of that there's a bowl, a white bowl, and then a sort of mystery red item that I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but I'm sure we're going to find out. So that's to our screen left, which is Victoria's right. On the other side of the screen is a small little plinth, which is blue on top, and it has on top of it the iconic magic hat, which is a top hat with quite a narrow brim, and I can only imagine what we're going to be pulling out of that. So I am going to be talking over this one, I'm afraid, so hopefully that won't interrupt you too much and you won't miss too much of what Victoria's saying. But I think I'm going to dive in, and I'll pitch in when it seems necessary. So
Good evening, it's Victoria Elizabeth from Manor Park, the Magic Lady. So I hope you're all having a good lockdown. No, neither am I. But I did get a nice present during the first lockdown. I got this lovely thing here. This is a nice present. It came from my old gran. They said she was a witch. And she brought me this. I wasn't sure what it was at first.
Picked up the red item.
I wasn't sure if it was a handkerchief or a scarf. But she said to me, that's actually a breakfast napkin.
And it looks like quite a large,
yeah, breakfast napkin. She said it's a
handkerchief.
very special breakfast napkin. She said this breakfast napkin, if you keep that with you forever and you never ever lose it, with just a little bit of magic,
She's holding it in
you
her
should
right
be able
hand.
to have your favourite breakfast every single morning. Sounded good to me. So every single morning of lockdown,
Snapped her fingers.
I've had the perfect
Oh my gosh,
breakfast.
she's waving her hand over the handkerchief. What's going to happen?
A glass of vodka and orange. Cheers.
No way, she's just revealing.
Additional benefit, it's one of my 5 a day.
A
Cheers.
glass of vodka orange, there it is, the first trick, and she's just downing that vodka orange.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So I learned everything I know about financial management from a trans woman. Yeah, an old transsexual I used to know. She used to live up in a house all on her own. And she had a very strange form of financial management. What she used to do, she used to have no money in her house at all, not a penny. But she always used to keep her old leather purse with her.
Just picked up a small leather
And
purse
her old
off the
leather
red
purse,
table.
I don't know how she got the shops to accept them,
Holding that in
but
her
she
left hand.
used to pay for everything
And we're getting a close-up
with
of
these 3 silver crowns.
the
Can you
3
see
silver
them?
crowns inside the purse.
And
she's just taking those out of the purse.
she had no other money at all. That's
And the
all
purse
she
is
had
empty,
was
she's just
these
waving it upside
3
down, nothing
silver
else in
crowns.
there.
And what she
And
used to
back on the
do,
table.
she was a creature of habit. She used to go into town every single day with her 3 silver crowns, solid silver crowns, none of your dodgy stuff. She used to take her 3 solid silver crowns, and she used to take the first one.
She's just taken the first crown in her hands. We can't see it behind her fingers. And she just gave it a little puff there.
And she used to blow it. She used to blow it entirely
Vanished.
on makeup and
Vanished
dresses.
from her hand.
The second
The second
solid
one is now in her
silver
hand.
crown, she'd take that one with her empty hand.
And we just
She'd
saw her
take that
hand
one.
there, it's hidden.
And she'd blow that one too.
And we're just now seeing Victoria's empty hand.
She'd blow that
The crown
one
is gone.
on alcohol. And the third solid silver crown, she used to take that one as well.
That's gone into
And
the palm of the hands. Nothing's happening. Still can't quite
She used to
see
blow
inside
that one.
Victoria's hand. Is the crown gonna be there?
entirely
Of course not.
On-
Vanished.
takeaway food in the cab fare home. So she used to do that every single day as a habit. She used to wake up the following morning in her bed, all on her own, just like I do, with a terrible headache and a dreadful hangover, and she'd take her little
Victoria's
leather
just picked up
purse
that leather
and
purse
she'd do a
again.
little bit of magic because she
Crowns
had
came
magic
from.
powers, because all trans women have magic powers. It's a known fact throughout history. All trans women have
Holding
magic
that purse
powers.
in her right hand.
And she'd do a little bit of magic.
Just waving her hand in front of it very magically, giving it another little
And
puff.
her 3 solid silver crowns would
Crowns are back
reappear
in there. We're getting
back
close
inside her
up
purse,
right in
just
front
like
of the
that,
camera.
and she'd be ready
And she's just tipped them into
to
her
start
hands. So
a
those
brand new
crowns
day.
back in the
Thank
purse,
you very much.
as if by magic.
So I tell you what, if we were doing a real life show, I'd be able to show you that these 3 solid silver crowns are genuine 3 solid silver crowns, and they are very high quality. And I tell you what, seeing as it's not a real life show and you're not sitting here in front of me, I'm just going to leave them here for you to examine them here. But just reach through that screen and examine the 3 solid silver crowns. There you are. So there you are. Thank you very much.
Right,
Let's just move this over here so you can see that. I've got a fruit bowl. There's no fruit in it though, unfortunately, but you can't get everything you want in life, can you? But it's a fruit bowl, nonetheless. I also have...
And she's reaching inside a pocket on a blue dress.
1 green ball, and I'm going to try and keep this...
That's gone into the palm of her hand. It's hidden away, and she's tapping
as simple as possible. It's a tap with my magic wand, my amazingly powerful magic wand. Watch closely.
She's just peeling away her fingers.
And the ball has disappeared. Waving a tap for the magic wand, the ball
upturned bowl with a
is under the bowl.
The ball is underneath
now,
the bowl.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that happened so fast, you'd like to see it again, am I right? Shall I do it again? If I can find the hole, I've got another ball in here. Shall I do it again? I'll do it again. Watch closely. I'm going to do it slower this time.
On top of ball number 1.
You see, it's all in the blow. And the tap of the magic wand. A lot slower.
Her hand is opened, the ball is gone.
And the ball has disappeared. Waving a tap of the magic wand, the ball
revealing underneath the bowl.
It's under the bowl. Now, ball number 3, I do differently. Ball number 3,
she's going into her other pocket now.
If I can find it.
Again,
ball number 3.
Pocket. All part of the trick, I'm sure.
I always have problems finding the hole, just as my boyfriend used to say.
Put the bowl back on top of balls.
Waving a tap of the magic wand, and I should be able to force a ball through this solid. Reinforced steel tabletop. And into the bowl from below. It's very simple. Watch closely.
Under the table with the hand which has the ball in it.
Oh!
Trying to force the ball through the table. And she's about to lift up the upturned bowl, and it has 3
1,
balls
2, 3. Well,
underneath
ball
it.
number 4 I'm going to place in the other hand because it's not my hands which are magic.
Ball number 4 now.
It's not even my balls which are magic. It's me and my magic wand. That's what's magic.
Within the palm of her hand. She's tapping her hand with the wand.
Because all trans women have magic powers. I told you that already. Watch closely.
Magic wand around her hand.
Oh, it's a miracle. Waving the tap of the magic wand, the ball.
Just lifted up that ball.
1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I tell you what, there's a choice now. We can either use this ball here, this ball here, this ball here, or this ball here. Ball number 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to select any one at random, and it's going to be this one here.
Number 1.
And it's going to be a blow and a tap of the magic wand. And I'm going to place this ball here, deep within the folds of my beautiful magician's outfit. If you can all see that, I did get this beautiful magician's outfit especially for this show, and 2 years ago off eBay. But it's going to go right in here if I can find the hole.
Into the pocket of her blue dress.
Oh, quite fairly. There's no mucking around here. This is proper, real, genuine magic. It's none of that mucking around TV magic, you see. This is proper, genuine magic, folks. Now watch closely. It's going to be a wave of the amazingly powerful magic wand, and a tap, and a blow. And ball number 3 should travel magically back under the ball. Under the bowl. That's proving both it and I are magic. Is he there?
Yes, 4 balls.
1, 2, 3, 4. Now you've got a choice. Now you can either have this pair here or this pair here. If you want me to use this pair here, give me a big cheer. I can't hear you. If you want me to use this pair here, give me a big shout. I can't hear you, people in Newham. I'm going to give this pair here a blow, okay?
The other 2 balls have gone.
We're going to select this one at random. Okay, we can be awkward. We can use this pair here if you like. It's up to you. We can use any pair. It doesn't matter. It didn't really matter, you know. But it's best than arguing. Just get on with it. So we're going to give this pair here a blow of the amazingly powerful magic wand, and a wave and a tap, and a blow of my magical breath. I did that already. I'm going to place each one deep within the folds of my aforementioned beautiful magician's outfit. This one's going to go in here quite fairly, no mucking around, and this one's going to go in here. If I can find the hole. Quite fairly. There you are. Now I'm not even going to stand near the bowl this time. I'm going to stand over here, and I'm going to give a wave of my amazingly powerful magical wand, and I'm going to say the magic words. And the magic words are Alakazam, Alakazam, place under the bowl the chosen pair. Now tap of the wand. Now is the chosen pair, the pair that everybody, the people of Newham chose. Is it under the bowl? What do you think? Is it under the bowl? Should we have a look?
He's lifting the bowl. It is an actual pear, like a fruit pear. The balls have gone. There's a fruit pear that has appeared under the bowl on the red table.
Like I said, you can't get everything you want in life, can you? But isn't that a lovely looking pear? Eh? And I tell you what, additional benefit, that's one of my 5 a day as well.
That's 2 of the 5 a day she's had now. She's taken a bite. It's a real live pear. There's juice dripping from it. It looks like a really nice, juicy pear.
So, thank you very much. My name's Victoria Elizabeth, the Magic Lady from Manor Park, from Newham, from London, from the world. Thank you very much. Good night.
Evening. God, what an evening it's been so far. I want to extend my love to all the performers this evening, and my love to Forest Gate Pride for putting this together. A little pride event from home. Next up, we're going to have some poetry, my darlings. You know, tantalise the poetry senses. And to do so, we bring on Necati.
Coming up next for you, we have a really beautiful, tender spoken word performance from Yaz. Yaz is a drag king, and we're seeing a really beautiful hardback version of a drag king performance here, which centres on, as you'll hear, an exploration of their identity, but what we're seeing is them getting into a really basic drag king look. So the performance is 8 minutes 39 seconds long, and for the duration of that, we're just seeing quite a close cut of Yaz from the chest upwards up to nearly the top of their head. Yaz is wearing a blue knit sweater, and they've got like a silver chain that comes down around over the top of their sweater over their neck. They're wearing, they're wearing their glasses, which are clear plastic rims, and they're quite large frames. And they've got what looks like quite fun red dyed hair. The performance is kind of split into 3 different sections. The first part, we hear Yaz's voice narrating the performance, and whilst that's happening, Yaz is putting on their drag king makeup. So as I mentioned, it's quite like a basic drag king look. They just do a little bit of contouring. They draw on a fake beard, moustache combo, and they give themselves some thicker eyebrows. Around the middle of the performance, you hear a song coming in, which Yaz lip syncs to really beautifully, and then after that, their voice continues, but this time they're speaking live. So that's a lot of what goes on in terms of the visuals of the performance. As I say, Yaz doesn't move around very much in terms of standing up or moving around on the camera, but their facial expressions are really penetrating and powerful, and it's just really clear from the way that they're sort of staring like really quite intensely into the camera, and that they feel very passionately and, as I say, really tenderly about what they're speaking about here, and I'm sure you'll hear that coming through in their voice as well. So that's probably all I need to say about that, and I will hand over to Yaz.
You wanted me to be hard like a bullet, but I am the soft shell of an egg. Not the kind stolen and mass-produced for human consumption, but the kind that holds what's growing, then lets it out. Poems to my name's one. If I had been born with a penis, my parents would have called me Errol, brave. Instead, they named me after a flower. Kids at school used to call my mum hula hoops because they couldn't pronounce her name. For this reason, my parents chose something that others would be able to wrap easily around their tongues like a lollipop. I was shaped by English children since before we could play bulldog in the school playground. They still called me by the wrong name. My name is not Turkish. It's Arabic, despite my parents being the most non-committal Muslims I know. At the pinnacle of the so-called war on terror, my grandmother added these words to her goodbye when I left her home after dinner. Don't tell them we're Muslim. How can I not, Nana? It's in my name. My family history reveals itself every time I introduce myself. They will remember I'm Muslim far longer than they will remember what I'm called. They might even pluck flower and replace it with a slur or two. My name marks me as someone to mock and someone to fear. At the US border, the security guard behind the counter stares far too long at my passport. He asks so many background questions he will soon know me better than my white partner, who is stamped straight through. We have anglicized our surname to the point that nobody knows what my real name is. And when I was a kid, I didn't mind because the English-sounding way had the word cat in it, and I was a child who was very fond of animals. In Turkish culture, we take our dad's first name as our surname. My parents left that tradition behind as well. I carry my dead grandfather's first name as my surname, wrongly pronounced, at every introduction. Oh, that's exotic. How do you say that? I've been asked many times, only to give back the wrong pronunciation and still hear people trip over the letters like a skipping rope playground games. Where are you from? They ask. I am from my names, I say. Poems to my names too. I'm glad my parents didn't call me Errol. The only cultural reference British people have to the name Errol is the daft owl in Harry Potter. I wouldn't trust J.K. Rowling with a trans kid. Why would I trust her with myself? Errol means brave. I get stared or shouted at every time I use a public bathroom and I still pee. Does that make me brave? This is my boy name. John Errol. I only want you to read it with the correct pronunciation. Imagine that C is a J and you are rolling your tongue out like a red carpet as you deliver it. John. 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 I refuse to be an easily pronounceable name. Instead, I will be a name that sits on your lips as hesitant as my gender. You can look it up if you'd like. Poems to my name's free. To lose my name would be to lose my culture. I don't want to have to pick between my transness or Turkishness. Gay bars do that for me. Family gatherings do that for me. Whenever a well-meaning person asks me if I'm going to change my name because I'm trans, I'm transported to my grandparents' living room, listening to my dad tell stories of the wimpy bar he worked at when they first moved to London to get away from the Cyprus War. Renaming myself would pull me into Western ideas of transness and away from my home, into and away from my home. Because I am a Western idea of transness, just like I'm a Western idea of queerness, just like I am a Western idea of Turkishness. I'm trying to unlearn myself while learning myself. When you say community, I think barracks and baklava, pride flags and queer poetry nights, chosen family and family who always calls me the wrong pronoun but never stop inviting me round for fasulye and köfte. In Turkish, my shortened name means summer. It also means to write.
Uzun ince bir yoldayım. Gidiyorum gündüz gece. Bilmiyorum ne haldeyim. Gidiyorum gündüz gece. Gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece. Bilmiyorum ne haldeyim. Gidiyorum gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece.
Saçımı kesebilir misin? I wait for a no. Wait for him to tell me I'm not a boy, or I can't fool him, or gays aren't welcome here. Instead, he pulls out a chair and offers me a seat. Asks me how I'd like my haircut. I haven't done this in so long. I've been afraid of barbershops, taught myself how to fade and do step cuts, how to sculpt the back and sides, how to cut around the ears. But now here I am, in a berber in Istanbul. His hands run shampoo through my hair and I catch myself closing my eyes. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I needed this gentleness from an older man after the guard at Topkapi Palace wouldn't let me use either bathroom yesterday. I needed this gentleness, this acceptance, this knowledge that my transness and my queerness and my Turkishness can coexist to somebody other than myself. Teşekkür ederim, amca.
Uzak gözükür görünce.
Oh, beautiful, my darlings. I don't know how to tell you this. We've come to the last performer of the evening. I know. Hold for upset. But the show must go on. My goodness, I love this next performer. One of my favourite cabaret performers in London. They hold no bars. They're going to give you everything they've got. Put your hands together, stomp those feet, make some noise for Shakona. Fire!
The next performance we have for you this evening is from the absolutely incredible Shakona Fire. Shakona is a black drag queen. She's fierce as a dancer and a lip syncer, but today we're seeing her doing a really tender and moving spoken word visual piece. So the way I'm going to describe this for you is I'm going to break it down into 3 sections, which is what Shakona has done herself. So there's the morning, the afternoon and the evening. So I'll describe each of those separately for you just before that part of the performance begins. The whole performance itself comes in at 11 minutes and 9 seconds long, and what we're mostly seeing are quite sort of symbolic shots of Shakona in different places throughout the day. So in the morning we see her in bed, in the afternoon we see her you'll have to cut this bit out. In the afternoon, we see her in a sort of a robe, just against a blank backdrop, and then in the evening, we're cutting between Shakona, and then in the evening, we're cutting between a close up of Shakona taking off her makeup, and then sort of sitting in what looks like a dressing room. So that's sort of the preamble, if you like. She's speaking consistently throughout the whole thing, and there are some moments when words flash up on the screen, which I'll read to you as well. But yes, I'll do a more specific description for you now of the first part of the performance, which is called The Morning. So this is the first part of Shakona Fire's performance, which is the morning section. So the general look of this is just Shakona in her bed. So I'll describe that scene for you. It looks like it's a single bed. It's up against a wall that appears to be just built from cinder blocks, so it's quite a stark, bare wall. And then the headboard is up against a grey wall. The bed itself has a metal bed frame with a headboard, which just has some sort of metal sticks coming down from the top to the bottom. She's got like grey bedding, which we don't really see very much of. Shakona herself is just wearing like a black, quite loose, flouncy robe, which just comes down to her elbows, and then some underwear. She's not wearing any other clothes as far as I can see. She's got a beautiful full face of makeup on. So we've got this wonderful, elaborate sort of blue popping eye, like a headband going around the top of her forehead, and then this huge cascading, really thick, heavy wig, which we definitely see used a lot during the performance, which is very much a movement piece aside from the words that you'll hear her speaking, which are narrated over the top. So Shakona's moving very rhythmically with the words that she's speaking. We see her tossing her hair around a lot. She really uses levels. She gets right down flat on the bed, and then she'll suddenly whip her body up. She does move in a really evocative way generally throughout the whole performance. And we really see the tone of what she's speaking about reflected in the movements, which is sometimes quite jarring and, as I say, very evocative of sort of that anxiety and just the nature that she starts her day. But I won't give any more away for you. And we'll dive in with the first part of Shakona's piece. I, Shakona Fire, this is a new piece of work. It's about me, you, he, him, she, her, us, they, them. This contains body, some nudity, race, black queer words, black elegance. Welcome to my world, alone in my room. The morning.
This piece called Woke Up. Step right up, step right up. Gather around if, like me, you are tired and fed up. Let me explain. I wake up, rub my eyes, and sometimes smoke way too much. I'm scared to open my phone because that's the one thing that really makes me sick. Dizzy. And every time, all I can do is sigh. Yes, that's right, it's the bi-weekly pageant for the next woke white guy. Please, tell me how much you like my skin, how your tolerance can be so high, but my patience is wearing thin. I'm not sure if anyone mentioned, but I'm not a fetish, a prop, or an experience. My skin is the constant reminder of the fight of occasional white interference. Oh my God, why so touchy? I'm sorry? Why are you so mad? Excuse me, I'm a true ally. Don't make me laugh. An ally listens, speaks, and communicates with us. No anger. What I can see is the constant bullshit of a keyboard gangster. Every time I open my phone, it makes me sick, anxious, my skin taken over by fever. But please don't cry for me, because I am not your Argentina. I am beautiful, intellectual, and a sexy being, boo. And I am intelligent enough to know that I am not going to sleep with you. And no, I'm not angry or insecure. I'm merely pointing out how hard it is to endure this pain, frustration, and yes, occasional anger. Okay, fine. You got me. That's right. But it still makes no sense of how hard I will continue and have continued to still fight. bleeding out of our hearts to our very core? Is this the dream that my heroes spoke out for? But I'm fine. I understand that things aren't always great. Days can be filled with rage and excuse. So forgive me if the speech has come too late. But I love me, you, and we. And that is why I speak to you now, while my mouth flows like the tides, flowing in such a breeze in no natural way no one can describe. Okay, I think I'm done. I guess this black frustration has finally won, but if I can leave you with one hope, it's not that you tell me I'm brave or that you're finally awake. It's that after you hear this, you stay woke up.
The middle section of Shakona's performance is the afternoon. Just to remind you about what Shakona looks like. Shakona is a tall black drag queen. She's very elegant. She has long limbs, which she uses so much in her movement during the performance. For this section of the performance, she's wearing almost like a poncho-style pink robe. It sort of envelops her from the shoulders all around her arms and the top half of her body, and I think there's a huge amount of material here, so it really flows beautifully. She's also wearing a neck scarf in the same colour, which I can't remember if I said is sort of a flamingo pink. Shakona has, again, a full face of makeup. Her eyes this time are a lighter tone, sort of lots of grey and white going on. And she's got a big smudge of blue just beneath her lip, which almost looks like a bruise. She's not wearing a wig, but she is wearing a wig cap. And in fact, during the performance, she does bring in lots and lots of different wigs to illustrate the characters that she talks about, the parts of herself that she references. So, for example, we have the shy person, the party queen. As she describes those characters, she will show a different wig either in her hand or she'll put it on to demonstrate that character. Wigs are a theme throughout this section of the performance. As it goes on, we start to see more and more wigs appearing on the screen, and there's a part where she's basically surrounded by all the different wigs, which I guess are her wigs that she uses in her performance. Again, Shakona's really moving throughout this piece, which is narrated. She's not apparently speaking, we just hear her voice over the top. And again, her movements are so sort of deeply linked with the words that she's saying, and we see loads of that really elongated limb, the quite jarring, jagged movements to really bring about that sense of unease, and the jarring that I guess she's describing in her words as well. So yes, that is the afternoon, and there's one more section of the performance which is going to come after this, which I'll describe for you when it comes up.
This piece is entitled, Who is she today? Who is she today? What person do I choose? When your life is filled with so many options, is there anything else? Looking for something that says, hey, this is me, while trying to hide the insecurities they refuse to see. It's easy being a bad bitch when you were given no other option. Am I Glinda, Elphaba? Am I Dorothy or Toto? Funny how your imagination can have such a cost when all you want to do is toss, toss, toss. Let's go down the line. The party girl. The classy woman. The shy person. The black bitch. What is my style? She smokes, drinks, and maybe looks at you wondering what you think I think. Sitting here, deciding what part of myself, what fraction of me will stay, wondering what reaction will last longer than just today, desperately seeking a sense of normal. Some chase the next gig, while I sit here alone discussing the politics of my next wig. Do I think too much? Or not enough? Whenever I write, it's never once upon a time. Remember that line about options? Too much, not enough. But too much from me could put him or them or her in a fuss. I write and write and write, and yes, more writing, trying to find an end to my next line while simultaneously hoping it will somehow begin to rhyme. Who is she today? Who am I tomorrow? The answer that I can give is just hollow. Because no matter what, I'll never be the same.
After tomorrow.
After
After
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
After tomorrow. After tomorrow.
So we're now on to the last section of Shakona Fire's performance, which is the night. This section alternates between two settings. So the background is kind of the same in both. It's where Shakona is that changes. So the background is just a blank wall with a mirror on the wall and a coat hanger on which you can see two items are hung. There's like a long black cardigan and then a nondescript sort of red item of clothing. The two different shots in this part of the performance are Shakona sat down on a chair in front of the mirror. We can also just see a radiator there as well. In this section, the spleen. In this section, the screen is split down the middle, and we see a mirror image effect. So essentially, there are two Shakonas performing when we see her sat down on the chair. While she's sitting in the chair, Shakona is still doing the similar sort of very evocative, very sort of passionate, jarring movements that we saw in the earlier sections of the performance, but she does remain mostly seated. While she's sat down, she's wearing a black, sort of quite loose, baggy blouse with like a corseted effect on the neckline, so it's sort of done up with ribbons. She's again wearing a full face of makeup. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but this is in black and white, this section. Sorry for not saying that earlier. So while she sat down in the chair, we're seeing black and white. As I say, she's wearing the blouse with the corset sort of ribbon effect and a full face of makeup, but we can't make out the colours. She is wearing a wig cap and, again, no wig. When we cut to the other shot that's present in this section of the performance, we see Shakona standing up with the same background, but this time she's removing her makeup using a face wipe. So she starts off with that full face of makeup, and then by the end isn't wearing any at all. She's taken the wig cap off, and we see this section in colour. There's also an interesting sort of yellow sheen to this section of the performance. And the angles sort of jump seemingly at random between her being sat down in the chair and her standing up, taking off her makeup. As this section of the performance develops, the seated version of Shakona, which is the one with the mirror image where we see two Shakonas, eventually strips off the black blouse, revealing nothing underneath. So she's completely naked by the end. And yeah, we see her sort of jumping up on the chair and continuing to move, really sort of displaying that nudity and that vulnerability in line with that wonderful evocation of her words that we've seen so much of in this performance. And then by the end, we cut to the black screen and some words appear on the screen, which I'll read for you when we get there.
This piece is called The Other Black Drag Queen. Let's hear it for the queens who love looks, pose and occasionally stunt. The first time I ever saw one, I said, wow. And in the same breath, I felt a beat, a pause, confusion and frustration. And no, This is not me writing about my own humiliation. I'm here as me, but I can't help but feel, do they see me as we? This scene is dominated by so many things I can't relate, and I hold my head in my hands, wondering if I say this too late. I see. I see bald heads with a match of thick socks. People on Twitter saying trans aren't valid, so kick rocks, looking out for the next viral tick-tock, tick-tock. Isn't it funny how bitch's biggest fear is the algorithm clock? I'm nothing like you, so why don't you just go ahead and take your best shot? Why do we even care? Half the time, I've always had this feeling, and of course you think, it must be me. But now looking back, I can see all the things that I can never unsee. I wasn't confused, I was bruised. It wasn't fear, it was just too unclear. Then it was anxiety, but I guess that thought just brushed by me. Now I know it was never just tension. Now I see these images are filled with sparkling deception. Be free. Be you. Why is this here? So embedded in the fabric we know as drag. I move my mind to the peaceful section because nobody should continue to look down on their own reflection. I'm sorry if I'm not good enough. Just kidding. I don't care. I will continue to be me, loving my skin and body because I can. My voice will be loud because it can. My black excellence will be proud. My legs slay all day, wander round, tell the stage, tell the flash. Who, me? As my beauty levitates around like a warm summer breeze. Okay. I think this is it. This is the end of the spoken cocoon, so I guess it's back to a Zoom. But if I could leave you with one thing, don't be afraid to be alone in your room. Yours sincerely, the other black drag queen, aka Shakona Fire. Thank you.
Thank you for your ears. Thank you for your time. The end.
Thank you so much, Shakona, for your energy this evening. And thank you to all of the performers this evening for giving us your time, your energy, and your creativity. And thank you to Forest Gate Pride for putting on this fabulous event. But do you mind if I do one more for you? One more to send us on our merry way. Now, this next performance is a song that I love dearly, and I really want you to listen to the message of this song, especially at an event like this. Without further ado, my name's Crystal Lubrikunt, and this has been Forest Gate Pride. Take care, look after yourselves, and we'll be together soon. Mwah! Love you all. Good night.
And we have, once again, another performance from your generous, vivacious, is that a word, host, Crystal Lubrikunt, who is singing us another of her stunning songs. So this one comes in at 4 minutes 46 seconds long and is a journey. It's a sort of a progression of her putting on her drag makeup. So we see her for the majority of the song in her bedroom, just during the whole process of applying the Crystal look. So it starts off with Crystal just sat barefaced in, as I say, what looks like her bedroom. I'll just describe the room a little bit for you. So we can just see the corner of the bed on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. There's a cute little puppy dog pillow, which I'm very attached to already. And then on the left-hand side of the screen, there's loads of wigs and furs and all sorts of drag accoutrements just hanging around, looking fashionable. There's also a beautiful Marilyn Monroe poster in the background hanging on the wall, which I'm sure is incredibly appropriate indeed. So yes, Crystal at the beginning appears in just kind of a plain navy blue jumper. We only see her from sort of the chest upwards, so we don't ever see her legs for the whole video. But yeah, she's wearing the navy blue jumper, is completely barefaced. She's got short hair, which is kind of unkempt. And like most drag queens, no eyebrows. But what we do see are her beautiful, stunning, piercing blue eyes, which of course remain unchanged for the whole video. As it goes on, we see her applying her foundation, doing her contour, starting to do her eyelashes, her eyebrows. She's gone for a really dark, dramatic, heavy eyeshadow with lots of sort of smoky blacks and dark blues, really, really long lashes, and a very high arched brow. And yeah, she's pretty much in her bedroom until the climax of the song, when she suddenly goes from being Crystal in bedroom to Crystal at full-on rock concert. She's suddenly completely fully transformed. She's got a leather jacket on. She's got this huge bright pink pop-in lipstick, massive big ring, black earrings. Don't know how to describe them in any more helpful way than that. The hair is this really choppy bob, kind of like a dirty blonde. And in the background, suddenly it's not the bedroom anymore. We've got all the fans screaming. We've got the strobe flashing lights. And that pretty much happens by the time we get towards the end of the song. We get to the yeah, yeah, yeahs, the doot, doot, doos. You'll hear exactly what I mean as it comes up. That is Crystal in full rock regalia. And that's how the song finishes, with her in her element, performing to, I'm sure, a crowd of thousands and thousands, all being very gratefully received. So here we have the next Crystal number, and I suppose that's all I need to say about that.
On nights like this, when the world's a bit amiss and the lights go down across the trailer park, I get down, I feel had, feel on the verge of going mad, and then it's time to punch the clock. I put on some makeup and turn up the tape deck and pull the wig down on my head. Ooh. Suddenly I miss Midwest midnight checkout queen until I head home and I put myself to bed. I look back on where I am from, look at the woman I've become, and the strangest things seem suddenly routine. I look up from my mouth on the rocks, a gift-wrapped wig still in the box of towering velveteen. I put on some makeup and some Laverne Baker, ooh, and pull the wig down from the shelf. Suddenly I miss Beehive 1963 until I wake up and I turn back to myself. Ha ha! Some girls, they have natural ease. They wear it any way they please, with their French tip curls and perfume magazines. Wear it up, let it down. This is the best way that I've found to be the best you've ever seen. I put on some makeup and I'll turn up the 8-track. I'm pulling the wig down from the shelf. Oh no, suddenly I miss Farrah Fawcett from TV until I wake up and I turn back to myself.
Come on, Shag, bi-level, Bob, Dorothy, Hamill, do sausage curls, chicken wings, it's all because of you. With your blow-dried featherback, Tony Homewood too. Flip, throw, frizz, flop, it's all because of you. It's all because of you. It's all because of you. Ooh, ooh.
Woo. I need to calm down. Yes. Or do I? Okay, everybody. I put on some makeup, turn up the 8-track. I'm pulling the wig down from the shelf. Oh, come on! Suddenly I'm this punk rock star from stage and screen, and I'm never coming back. Yeah, yeah.